column, the following person will be, okay, I don't know.
This call is now being recorded.
I don't know what is the technical problem. Anyway, okay. Manufacturer of 8051 to manage 16-bit, because yeah, since 8051 cannot handle anything bigger than bit, what they have done is they have divided this DPTR, data pointer register, to 2 bytes, DPL and DPH, and they have stored in memory, okay, like this. Okay, there is one below the other, there is DPH and DPL, DPH and DPL. Because they cannot accommodate DPTR at a time. They cannot store 16-bit at a time. That's why it is divided into two registers, DPH and DPL. Okay, this is what it is. What is the purpose of this DPTR? That we will discuss now. Okay, so if you see the a block diagram, it is written as DPTR. Okay, of course DPTR is the name of the register, data pointer register. It is a special function register which is divided into 2 bytes, DPH and DPL. Okay, it is stored separately in two separate locations. Okay, fine. What is the application of DPTR? Let us have a look into that. Okay, so now we have understood that 8051 microcontroller has internal memory. Okay, 8051 microcontroller, it has two okay, just a second, miss, somebody is on the line. Okay, okay, yeah. So it has two what do you call okay, it has two memory. One is called as a RAM memory. Okay, random access memory, which is used to store data. Which is used to store data. There is one more memory called as a ROM memory. Okay, so one more memory is called as a ROM memory, which is used to store instructions or code. Let us call it as a code, because we should start using the phrase code rather than instruction, because anyway ultimately we have to end up learning a programming language, so we should use this term code. Okay, so ROM memory is used to store code. Okay, fine. Now sometimes what happens is this internal memory is not sufficient. Some applications this internal memory may not be sufficient. Okay, in that case, microcontroller 8051 microcontroller is interfaced with external memory. Yes, hold on. Somebody is on the line again. Okay, somebody's on the line. Okay, here we go. Do I have any message? I don't know. Let me check. Okay, no problem. Okay, fine. So 80. Okay. So if the internal memory is not sufficient, then we go for external memory, which is interface to microcontroller. This external memory is basically used to store both the data as well as code. Both data as well as code. Okay, code. Now, this data and code stored in the external memory has to be accessed by the RAM 8051 microcontroller. Okay, how does 8051 access internal memory? Of course, this we'll discuss in little detail in our next topic after pin diagram. This just for information, just to understand this concept. 8051 will access RAM memory using its, see, generally all the memories addressed using accessed using what is known as address. Just like we have names, names. There are different way of identifying us. We have names, we have USN. Okay. Nowadays we have Aadhaar number. That is unique to each one of us. So something like there are different way of accessing people. So similarly, generally 8051 microcontroller will access any memory, either internal memory or external memory, using address. In that there are different types. It can be name of the location. For example, there may be a location which has a name. For example, it is R0. Okay, what is R0? We'll see later. Okay, we'll understand this in detail. R0. Oh, there is a register called as R0. This register also has an address. This register also has an address of 00H. Okay, so the 8051 can access this register or not using the address 00 or its name R0. Okay. Similarly, how does it will access the internal code memory? Using the program counter. Last class we discussed program counter. So using program counter, it will access the internal memory. Similarly, to access external memory, which stores data as well as code, is accessed using a special function register, which is stored as part of the internal memory of 8051 microcontroller, that is called as DPTR. That is called as DPTR, which is split into two parts, DPH and DPL. DPH and DPL. DPH and DPL. Okay, fine. So now let us understand, the range of memory accessed by the what you call data pointer. So the address, okay, how does it access? It will store the address in DPTR. Address of the external memory location. Let us say there is a location in external memory. Address is some, let us say 1234H, for example. It is a 16-bit address. So thereby it will have a four-digit address 1234H, where each one of them is represented using 4-bit binary. So how to access? Okay, let us understand it like this. So let us say there is external memory. This external memory interface to 8051 microcontroller. The address is, let us say 1234, example. Okay, 1234. This 1234 is nothing but 16-bit address. It's hexadecimal number system, but if you represent in binary, it can be represented as 1. 1 is represented as 0001, 2 0010. Sorry, is it correct? Yes, yes. 2 is correct. What about 3? 0011, and 4 is 0100. Okay, it's a 16-bit address. This 16-bit address is stored in DPTR. Okay, upper 8-bit is stored in DPH. DP, that is data pointer I register, and the lower 8-bit is stored in data pointer low register. Data pointer low register. Okay, so whatever the location to be accessed by the microcontroller, first what it does is it will transfer the address. Okay, there is the microcontroller will transfer the address to DPTR, which is a 16-bit register, and this DPTR in turn helps in accessing the external memory location. Thereby, it helps in transferring the data between 8051 microcontroller and external memory. Okay, it can be data as well as code. That is instruction. Okay, so there will be a communication of data and code between the 8051 microcontroller, what is known as external memory. It's okay. Okay. Now the question is, what can be the maximum size of this external memory? Okay. The same thing in last class we discussed. 2 power n is equal to m, where n is the number of bits in the address, m is the maximum location it can access. So 2 power 16. So maximum it can access is 65,535. Of course, 2 power 16 is 65,535. But first location address is 0000H. Okay, and the last location is FFH. So this FF corresponds to 65,535, including 0. The total locations accessed by the DPTR, the locations of the external memory which is interfaced to microcontroller is 65,536. Number of locations a DPTR can access is 65,536. Somebody is on the line. Yeah, okay. Here we go. 65,536 number of locations that can be accessed by the microcontroller using DPTR register. Yes, is that okay? I mean, you got some idea what is DPTR? DPTR role is similar to that of program counter, but the only difference is program counter will access the internal code memory, whereas DPTR will not only access code memory, will also access data memory, but which is stored in the external memory, not internal to microcontroller. That's all. It's okay. So that's about code memory. So let us continue our discussion on the program status. What I think last class we discussed, it consists of flags, okay, which indicates the result of execution of arithmetic and logical operations. We'll discuss this in next, in little detail. Okay. Okay. So you can see, 8-bit data and address bus. The ALU is connected to various parts using 8-bit data bus and address bus. And the address bus is particularly 16-bit because address there is program counter is 16-bit in size, so address bus should be 16-bit. What is a bus base? What is a address and data bus? It is nothing but the lines, parallel lines. Okay, parallel lines. There are 16 lines. Okay, which corresponds to writing very badly. So there are 16 lines. Okay, that corresponds to a bus. The group of wires is called as a bus. Very simple. Okay. There is separate bus for data as well as there is a separate bus for address. And also there is a separate bus for what is known as control signal. There is a separate bus for what is known as control signal. Okay, we'll see that. Okay? We'll look into that. Okay. Sorry. Yes, there we go. So it has internal memory, that is RAM memory, okay, random access memory, and it has a ROM memory. What is this special function register? Okay, let us understand that now. Special function register is nothing but a group of register which are used to control some of the operation of the microcontroller. I'll take one simple example. Okay, of course we'll discuss this SFR in detail in memory organization topic after pin diagram. Just for our understanding purpose, what this SFR can be. Let us say there is 8051 microcontroller. This 8051 microcontroller has to be programmed. It is interfaced to our PC or desktop PC or laptop, whatever it is. Generally, let me call it as PC. Okay. This programming of 8051 microcontroller by the PC, there is a desktop PC or laptop, whatever it is. This connection should be serial communication. This should be of the serial communication. Especially because you must have heard of that, VGA port or COM port, serial port. You must have seen in projectors and in printers they use VGA. I'll show you that. Let me open it. Why to imagine when there is an internet connection here. Yes, VGA port. You need not even take pain in imagining. So it's easy to guess, easy to visualize. Okay, here we go. There's something like this. This you must have seen VGA port. Okay, it's a DB9 connector. Okay, so there will be depending on the type, there will be DB9, DB12. There are different types. Okay, using this we are going to establish connection between that 8051 board and the PC. There is one more port called as RJ45 connector. RJ45 port. I'll show you this also. Yes, here it is. Guys, you must have seen this RJ45 or LAN connector. Guys, you must have seen this LAN connector. Your internet. If you have broadband internet at home, you must have seen this LAN cable. Using this also, we can program the microcontroller. It depends. Nowadays, we can program using USB also. USB programmer. Okay, USB is very popular nowadays. Using USB programming also, we can program the microcontroller. There are different ways. Okay, that depends on the manufacturer. Okay, so thereby this one of the method of programming is through what is known as serial communication. In fact, VGA, what I showed, is an example of a serial communication. Okay, so to establish this connection, we need a serial communication. To control the serial communication between microcontroller and PC, we have a special function register to control that called as a SCON, serial controller. Serial controller. One simple example. Okay? I'll take one more example. Just now we discussed DPTR. This correct? DPTR, data pointer register. This DPTR is also available in SFR in two locations. They are called as DPH and DPL. It is called as DPH and DPL. That's right. There are 21 registers, special function registers. We'll discuss each one of them in detail when we discuss memory. Okay. So let us not spend more time on that. Anyway, we have to have a more detailed discussion. Okay? That is called as special function registers, RAM, random access memory. Next is ROM, read-only memory. Okay. So this read-only memory will store the code. Okay. How to access the code? Using program counter. Okay, fine. Now, what is the size of PC? Guys, 16-bit. It is 16-bit register. Just now we have understood that 16-bit register helps in accessing total of 65,536 number of locations, including 0. Okay. So to be more specific, we can write like this, because this formula is if I write 65,536. Then this will not be equal to 65,536. We can write like 65,535 plus 535 plus 1. So what is this 1 corresponds to? The first location of 0000H. The total number of location is 65,536. 536 number of locations. So what is the 65,536 number of locations? That means there are 65,536 number of locations in the internal ROM memory. Okay, this is the internal ROM memory. First location is identified as 0000 and the last location is identified as FFFH. Okay, and each location can store 8 bit of data. Each location can store 8 bit of data. Okay, so that means there are 65,536 number of locations. Okay, but what happens is this memory is a very huge component. If you take any, consider any processor for that matter, memory is one of the heaviest element in a IC, processor IC. Okay, so thereby what does make, and moreover, this number of memory may not be required. That is, say, in terms of kilobytes, how do we represent this? In terms of megabytes, 65,536 is represented as 64 kilobytes. Why is 64 kilobyte base? Can somebody answer? What is 1 kilobyte is equal to? In terms of decimal, what is 1 kilobyte is equal to? Yes, can somebody answer this question? Where you have studied this, in ADC or in basic electronics? What is 1 kilobyte is equal to? Okay, so 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 decimal value. 1024 decimal value. Okay, so thereby 1024 into 64, 1024 into 64 will equal 65,536. Okay, so that's why 65,536 can also be represented as 64 kilobytes. This number of this size of memory or this many number of locations may not be required for all the applications. So thereby, what does the manufacturer does is, they will not provide 64 kilobytes. They'll provide only 4 kilobytes. That too, it depends on manufacturer. Some manufacturer will go for 4 kilobytes. Some manufacturer provides 6 kilobytes, something like this. 6 kilobytes, capital B. Sorry, 6 kilobytes. Okay. So this number of the size of the internal RAM space, size of internal ROM space depends on the manufacturer. Okay. So thereby, this memory ranges from 4 kilobytes to maximum of 64 kilobyte. It cannot be bigger than 64 kilobyte. Why? Because 16-bit can access only maximum of 64 kilobyte. If you want to access more than this, you have to increase the number of address lines. You have to increase the number of size of PC. Instead of 16-bit, you may have to make it 20-bit. For example, if you make it 20-bit, let us say, for example, okay, 2 power 20 is equal to 1 megabyte. 2 power 20 is equal to 1 megabyte. Okay, so thereby, so for a 8050 microcontroller, since the size of PC is fixed at 16-bit, maximum location it can access is only 64 kilobyte. Since that is too heavy for a microcontroller, what does the manufacturer does is, they limit the size of the ROM to 4 kilobytes. 4 kilobytes. Okay. What about this special function register again? This will be 128 bytes. This will be 128 bytes. 128 bytes. Okay. Of course, we'll discuss this memory structure in little detail. So let me jump to next block. Okay. Okay. Now, yes, here we go. This we'll discuss when we take up the memory architecture. This complete block will take up after pin diagram. Okay. This also I'll discuss this in pin diagram. This system timing and other factors. Data buffer, system timing and interrupts. Okay. Yes. Now, what you can observe here is there are ports. There are 4 ports. Okay. The ports are called as P0. There is port 0, port 1, port 2, and port 3. To make it simple, the manufacturer has called it as P0, P1, P2, and P3. Okay, fine. Each port is 8-bit in size. Okay, each port is 8-bit in size. So the number of 8-bit in the sense, each port pin corresponds to one physical pin. Okay, so okay, so I'll show it that here. Okay, in fact, we can check it in the pin diagram. Okay. Okay, roughly I'll discuss, then I'll go to pin diagram. So there we'll discuss this in little detail. Each port has 8 physical pins. Okay, and the microcontroller IC, it has a, for example, port 0. There's a port 0. This is 8051 microcontroller. Okay, so there's a port 0. Okay, Each port has 8 pins, physical pins on the IC. Okay, so there are 4 ports. So 8 4s are 32. 32. That means out of 40 pin IC, there is 1 to 20 and 21 to 40. Out of 40 pin IC, 32 lines, 32 pins corresponds to port pins. Left out 8 pins corresponds to other functions. What are those functions? We'll see. We'll discuss in the pin diagram. Okay. What is the purpose of these ports? There are 4 ports. These 4 ports are used for interfacing purpose. This 8051 microcontroller has to be interfaced to some external devices to control the operation. For example, let us say stepper motor. We need to control the speed of stepper motor or DC motor, whatever it is. Okay. So in that case, for interfacing purpose, we make use of this, ports. We can use any ports. In that, port 3 port 3 has a special functions. Okay, it has a special functions, but generally all the ports can be used as a IO pins. IO pins means it can be configured as a input pin or it can be configured as a output pin. Okay, so of course there needs a small setting to be done. With that we can configure any pin as a input pin or any pin as a output pin. Okay, so port, okay, there is more, a little more detail to be discussed, that we'll see later. Okay, I'll discuss that in little detail in memory architecture. Okay, this is about the architecture of 8051 microcontroller, but the discussion is not complete. I understand, because we need to discuss the internal memory architecture and we have to discuss the pin diagram. In the pin diagram, we discuss port pins again, and we need to discuss these pins in little detail. Okay, so that's why let us jump to the next topic, that is pin diagram. In the same material, we have the what is okay. Before we go to pin diagram, a quick view at the various salient features of a 8051 microcontroller. Okay, here we go. It is a 8-bit CPU, and that we understood. So 8-bit means maximum, at a time it can access only 8-bit of data. Anything less than 8-bit, it has to be converted into 8-bit. Anything more than 8-bit, it has to be converted into 8-bit. Okay, it has a on-chip clock oscillator. So on-chip clock oscillator is responsible for converting oscillations into clock pulses, so that different blocks of the microcontroller can be triggered. As just now we discussed, it has a 4 kilobytes of internal ROM memory, that is program or code memory. Okay, 4 kilobytes. Why 4 kilobytes? Because of the size of the memory. So to limit the size, the manufacturer provides only 4 kilobytes because of the size constraint. Okay, it has internal RAM memory of 128 bytes. It has an internal RAM memory of 128 bytes of internal RAM memory. Okay, and 64 kilobytes of external RAM memory, because we understood that external memory can be accessed using DPTR register. The size of DPTR is 16-bit. Okay, since it is 16-bit, 16-bit in size, 2 power 16, it can access maximum of 64 kilobytes. Okay, and also 64 kilobytes of external data memory. So if it is a program memory, it can also be data memory. Okay, so there is external memory can be used as a data memory as well as program memory. Yes, okay. Yeah. So let us look into a few more. Okay, 32-bit bidirectional IO pins. Just now we discussed. There are 4 ports. So each port is of 8-bit. Each port has 8 pins. So total number of pins corresponds to port is 32 pins. Each pin can be configured as a input pin or a output pin. Okay, so 32 individual address. Each pin can be separately configured. We can access it individually instead of a group of pins. We can access it individually. Okay, 16-bit timer or counter. Okay, in fact it was there in the block diagram, but we'll discuss this in little detail later. 16-bit timer or counter. So what is the purpose of this timer or counter, guys? In the ADC lab, in the theory, we have understood that counter is used to count the clock pulse. Okay, the purpose of counting the clock pulse is to generate what is known as a delay. Okay, so what is this delay? There is, for example, I'll take simple quickly. I'll take one example. So let us say there is a 16-bit register. 16-bit register. Okay. Sorry for this. Okay. So there is a 16-bit register, for example. Okay. Now this 16-bit register receives clock pulse and it increments count from 0000, it starts incrementing 0001 like this. Okay. We'll take simple example. Okay, so this clock input time period, for example, 1 second. It's not 1 second practically in our microcontroller. Just for our understanding purpose, it is easy to understand. Time period of one clock pulse is, let us say, 1 second, for example. Okay, 1 second. If the counter has counted a count of 10, 10, let us say 10. What is the decimal value, guys? 10. Decimal value is 10. Okay, sorry, 9. It should be 9. So the total count will be 10. Total count will be 10, including 0. So this is 9, not 10. This is 9. Okay. Somebody is on the line. I don't know. Let me quickly check. Okay. Yeah. No problem. So now, okay. Starting from 0, it has, say, first clock pulse, the count becomes 0. Starting with 0, first clock pulse, the count becomes 1. Like this, it continues. The second clock pulse, count becomes 2. Like this, it goes. 10th clock pulse, the count becomes 9. Total number of clock pulse it has counted is 10. Okay. The time period of one clock pulse is 1 second. It has counted 10 clock pulse. What is the time it has taken to count 10 clock pulse? 10 second. 10 second. Okay. Let us say I want 100 second delay. Delay in the sense time measurement. Okay. Time measurement. That means how many clock pulses I have to count? At least I have to count 100 clock pulses to generate a time period of 100 seconds. This is nothing but in your devices, in a mobile device, screen timeout. Okay. For example, if you set it to 1 second or let us say 10 seconds, for example. Okay. After 10 seconds, screen will automatically time out. Okay. But how does the device knows that 10 seconds has elapsed? No, nobody will tell it. The one who tells the device is the counter or a timer. Okay, so we'll discuss more about this timer and counter in there is a separate topic on that. We'll discuss that in detail. Okay, so there are two 16-bit timer or counter. 16-bit means it can count maximum of 65,536 clock pulses. If the size of timer or counter is only 8-bit, for example, if it is only 8-bit, it would have counted only 256 clock pulses. Okay, bigger the size of the timer or counter, more number of clock pulses it can count. That's the advantage of having bigger size of timers or counters. Here we go. Full duplex serial transmitter and receiver. Just now, as I said, for programming purpose, we have to establish serial communication. That feature of serial communication will be provided by the microcontroller. Okay, so that is, a device can be used as a transmitter as well as receiver for serial communication. Okay, this where you have come across serial communication is you had an experiment called as serial in, serial out, or parallel in, serial out. Is correct? I'll take example of parallel in, serial out. It's very simple, Parallel in 4-bit register, for example, 4-bit. Okay, so you can transfer 4-bit of data parallelly. Okay, let us have some data from 001, for example. 4-bit data you will transfer parallelly, and you're going to shift the bit from one location to another location. Okay, so there we get bit by bit. That we call it as a serial output. That we term it as a serial output. Okay, so that is an example of what is known as serial communication. Okay, 8051 provides serial communication feature. So more on that we'll discuss in 5th module. Okay, so there are 4 register banks with 8 registers in each bank. Okay, so this we'll discuss next in the memory architecture. There are 4 register banks. Each register bank has 8 registers. For example, let us say register bank 0. It has 8 registers. It is called as R0 up to R7. Okay, so there are 3 more register banks. Let us say register bank 1. This also has 8 registers, which is also called as R0 to R7. How to identify R0 of register bank 1 and R0 of register bank 0 we'll discuss later. Okay, next topic we'll discuss in the memory organization. Okay, 16-bit program counter and 16-bit data pointer. So there are two 16-bit registers. They are program counter and data pointer. This timer counter cannot be called as a register. Okay, it's a separate hardware. Okay, so the purpose of this timer and counter is not for storage purpose. Okay, and hence we cannot call it as a register. There are timers and counters. Okay, But 8051 has only two 16-bit registers. They are called as program counter and what is known as a data pointer. There is a 8-bit program status word. There is nothing but flags. Flags are stored in 8-bit program status word. That we'll discuss next. Okay. There is a 8-bit stack pointer. That also will take up. For accessing stack memory, we have 8-bit stack pointer. There's a 5 vector interrupts. Okay. Vector interrupt in the sense 8051 microcontroller can be interrupted. Okay. So let's say for example, 8051 microcontroller is performing some operation. Okay. It is performing some operation. It has to be interrupted. It is executing some instructions. It has to be stopped. So for that we have to apply what is known as interrupt. We have to apply what is known as a interrupt. Okay. So there are different sources of interrupt that we'll discuss. So generally there is actually 6 sources of interrupt. But out of them, one of the interrupt is reset pin. That is a non-maskable interrupt, and hence we'll consider only 5. We'll discuss this case. We'll discuss especially we have a pin diagram. In that we'll come across this pin number 9, which is the reset pin. We'll discuss next. Okay, and next is 8051 CPU consists of 8-bit ALU with associated registers like accumulator, A register, and B register. Since accumulator is represented as A, another register is represented as B. That's all. There is no expansion for B. I mean, the only intention that since both A and B is used for arithmetic and logical operations, one is called as accumulator to store the result. Accumulator intention is to store the result. Other register is called as a B register. Very simple. There is a program status word, stack pointer, 16-bit program counters, and what is known as a stack pointer. I think stack pointer is repeated, right? Here also stack pointer is repeated. Okay. So ALU can perform arithmetic and logical functions on 8-bit data. Why? Because 8051 microcontroller is only is a 8-bit microcontroller, whereas 8086 is a 16-bit microcontroller. 8086 is a 16-bit processor, 16-bit microprocessor. Somebody's on the line. This I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'll wind up in just another 2 minutes. Yes. Okay. That's about arithmetic and logic operations. 8051 has 128 bytes of internal RAM, which is divided into working registers. That is, this internal RAM memory is actually divided into 2 parts. Okay, they are called as general purpose register, GPRR, general purpose GPR, general purpose register, and what is known as SFR, special function register, SFR. Okay, each of them is SFR, special function register. Each of them is 128 bytes. 128 bytes. Okay, 128 bytes. This general purpose register consists of 4 register banks. 4 register banks, and what is known as bit addressable memory, and what is known as left out space is called as scratch pad or general purpose memory. Scratch pad or general memory. Yes, I'm sorry for this bad scribbling. General memory. So general memory. Okay, so the total size remains 128 bytes. 128 bytes. This we'll discuss in detail in memory architecture. Okay, so that's what they explained here, and they have given the range also, like 0, 0. This we'll see in little detail. We have more discussion to be done on that. This is very important. Memory is very, very important in a what you call processor or a computer. Without memory, not possible. 8051 has 4 kilobytes of internal RAM. I think it is repeated. So the address space is from 00 to 0FFH. Okay. So why this address is because, for example, if it is 64 kilobyte, okay. So let's say internal RAM space. If it was 64 kilobyte, then it could have been it could have started with 0000. It could have went up to let's say FFFH. So in that case, the maximum number of location is 65,536. Now, for a 4 kilobyte memory, let's say the memory is only 4 kilobyte, then the starting address is 0000, and the last address will be 0 F F H. Okay, if you convert, if you can use a calculator and convert this 0 f into decimal value, it will come around 4 kilobytes, 4096. It will come around 4096 number of locations. 4096 represents number of locations. Okay, for example, 64 kilobyte, if you convert into decimal value, 65,536. What is this 65,536 decimal represents? It represents number of locations in the memory. Number of locations in the memory. Similarly, if the memory is only 4 kilobyte, it will start from 0000. It will end at 0f The total size will be 4. Total number of locations will be 4096 number of locations. So that's what explained here. 4 kilobytes external memory. Sorry. Okay. Okay, this statement will discuss later. Okay, in external memory part we'll discuss. So accumulator is a 8-bit register. Okay, this is kind of repetition for us. Accumulator is also used to transfer data between the internal memory and external memory. That we'll see later. A and B registers are also called as a MAC registers. This we discussed. It is also called as a CPU. Some author called it as a CPU registers. Okay, fine. Okay, yes, with this we'll wind up. Next class we'll discuss the this. Program status word, then we'll jump to what is known as pin diagram. So we'll discuss pin diagram in little detail. Then comes the internal memory organization. Okay, internal RAM organization. So there we have to discuss more on the memory architecture. This document I'll share it now with you guys. This is with the college logo is available. This I'll share with you guys. Okay. Yes, here we go. Okay, yes, fine. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Okay, see you. Bye. See you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, good day. Bye. Not able to end the call here.